Now let's discuss that further with Daniel Shaw, Professor of Latin American and Caribbean Studies, joining us from New York. Mr. Shaw, welcome back to Press TV. First of all, I wanted to get your thoughts on Abbas Araghchi's remarks, and what does it mean for international organizations like the IAEA and treaties like the NPT when member states and signatories are attacked?
That's exactly correct. Why don't these investigative bodies go into the Zionist colony? Why don't they go into the United States or Britain, the US being the only country to have used atomic weapons? This is clearly a double standard, as always. What's truly behind all these attacks on Iran is fear of any resistance. They're trying to dismember and decapitate any type of resistance. They only want house slaves. They want lackeys that they can control, like in Saudi Arabia, like in the Gulf countries. That's why you have this ongoing pressure on Iran and the entire axis of resistance.
Mr. Shaw, in your view, will they succeed?
They won't succeed because the people of the region will continue to resist. They've done everything to cut off communication between Syria and Iran, and of course the resistance within Lebanon with Hezbollah. I just returned from the Middle East. Despite all of their attempts at establishing dictatorships in Jordan, in Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, the people of the region overwhelmingly, 99%, 99.9%, want to see Palestine free, want to see a strong, sovereign Iran, and an entire Western Asia where it's not lackeys and house slaves that are in power, but it's the people that are empowered. All of the diverse people of what is called the Arab world and extending into all of Western Asia, people don't believe in imperialism and in Zionism, and they're going to continue to resist by any means necessary.
That's absolutely right. Mr. Shaw, in your view, what kind of inspection framework would best, right now, would best protect Iran's national interests, especially after the 12-day war with the Israeli regime?
Well, I think the truth is that if all the colonial bullies are allowed to have how many thousands of nuclear warheads, then why can't the colonized? Why can't the bully protect themselves? So for me, it's not a question of inspections unless they're going to inspect the biggest bullies in the history of humanity, or what Dr. Martin Luther King, an incredible advocate for peace, called the greatest purveyor of violence in the world, and that is our own government right here in Washington, D.C. So it shouldn't be the colonizers and the bullies, the ones doing the inspecting. It should be the masses of people of Iran and the masses of people of this region subjected to how many decades and decades of humiliating colonialism. They should be the ones to inspect and to have the final say over who the criminals are. And once the mass of people have a voice, there'll be a sense of justice in this area of the world, which right now the Zionist colony and the US and their Western partners treat as their colonial laboratory and as their colonial playground and backyard.
That's right. And my final question, Mr. Shaw, there are analysts saying that the biggest loser of the 12-day war between Iran and Israel were the international, so-called international institutions and the treaties like the NPT. Would you agree with that?
It is a fair statement. These are bodies that imperialism themselves have created, similar to the United Nations and the International Criminal Court, but then they never honor these bodies. They're just for show. So they talk out of one side of their mouth, and then they do the opposite. They talk left and they walk right. No matter what all of these different agencies that they set up say, they do whatever they want. So unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more aggression. We see them continually bombing and droning Lebanon, Syria. We see the dictatorships surrounding Palestine, and we see the genocide really uninterrupted at this point in a massive starvation campaign. Where are the international bodies that are going to respond to what's the central contradiction that humanity is facing right now, and that is the Holocaust in occupied Palestine?
Daniel Shaw, professor of Latin American and Caribbean Studies at CUNY.